Hey guys, I'm Daisho, and I am here recording a video. Decided to just try some games with this deck. I haven't really tested it out since I've made the last few changes, but the general principle is just that it's a rogue beatdown deck. Originally, I created it to beat the frost mages that everybody was running, and I had like multiple assassin's blades, and those along with deadly poisons, and the 5-drop 4/6 spiteful smith that made my weapons bigger if it was enraged. But now I decided to just focus it. It's like more of just an aggro deck, but it's using some of the powerful rogue cards plus Cold Blood just as like a combo finisher or like a power overwhelming kind of thing. But basically just between Cold Blood and Eviscerate as well as like the weapons, I actually have a pretty good chance of being able to like finish somebody after I started to do some damage. And then Argent Squire I tossed in just to help with some combos with either Ringleader or whatever, just because I was finding that it was actually pretty difficult to get the combos off. And yeah, I mean, I've got just some general good creatures as well as like combo SI7 agent, and then Assassinates. I always like to run these kinds of just like destroy. I also run Siphon Soul in all of my Warlock decks just because even though they're pretty expensive, a lot of the time you can, like if you have a decent board state and then they stop it with one card, then Assassinates or Siphon Souls can really come in handy there. And then of course Sylvana's Windrunner, which is basically in all my decks, and an Argent Commander, or a couple Argent Commanders. So I mean, it's a pretty simple deck, simple concept. You just want to beat down, and that's how I've been playing most of my matches, just beating down. And yeah, I mean, I'm rank 7 barely, mostly 8. I've been fluctuating between 8 and 7 for a while now. Haven't gotten down to 6 quite yet. I've been wanting to try the Murloc deck out, but I don't have enough dust to create the war leaders. And I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff that I need also. So I was playing some arena earlier, and just to try and grind some gold, or grind some dust rather. But I mean, I think I'm getting pretty close. I have a couple of gold cards that I can sell, but I think they're all gold commons, so they're only worth like 50 or something. I don't know. Anyway, not the point. The point is we're focusing on this rogue deck here that is pretty powerful, I think. Alright, so we're playing against a Warlock. Generally, they're really aggressive. There are non-aggressive Warlock decks, but for the most part, they're pretty aggressive. I think I'm going to get rid of these two. I don't really, like, if I'm on the play, I don't really need an extra 2-drop. And I already have a Loot Hoarder, so maybe I should have kept a Novice Engineer to help smooth my draw, but looks like I picked up a Harvest Golem. And, I mean, Eviscerate, just really good removal spell. Hey, we got the Novice Engineer back anyway. This isn't the most aggressive deck. I mean, these 2-drops, the Novice Engineers and the Loot Hoarders, they're good, but they're not quite as, like, aggressive as some of the other 2-drops in the format. And, like, I don't even think I have Knife Jugglers in this deck. That's probably a mistake. I think I'm probably just an oversight, now that I think about it. But yeah, I mean, Fairy Dragon, there's a lot of good opportunities. Acidic Swampoos, there's a lot of good 3/2s and stuff. Ugh. Alright, so he's got... Blood Imp is actually a really difficult card for me to deal with. So it looks like he's running a deck that would be similar to the Murloc deck, except without Murlocs. Anyway, I think this turn I just want to go with a Shattered Sun here. Maybe a Harvest Golem would have been a good play too, but yeah, I mean, what I was trying to say is my opponent looks like he's kind of running a Murloc deck without Murlocs, and then he's got this really aggressive curve with like lots of 1-drops, which is what the Murloc deck likes to do, but without Murlocs. Alright, so Defender of Argus here is pretty good for him. And I'm still 1 mana away from being able to combo this, so I think I'm going to go with a Defender of Argus of my own. This will allow me to favorably trade both of these guys and now put up a couple of 1-toughness Taunters, which is okay. It's not great if he's got Mortal Coil, but there's no way to determine whether or not he is going to be even playing Mortal Coil. Not really. Oh, okay, it's because he's going to trade the Blood Imp. So that's pretty. I mean, that's okay with me. In fact, I am actually going to go with that, and then instead of just using... Actually, no, I lied. I am going to use the dagger and then drop a Harvest Golem of my own. So he's got me 8 life down, but I'm already up on cards and board position, so I'm not really sure what his goal is here. but we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, he's going to start drawing to get that card advantage back, and he's got a Demon Fire here. Not that big of a deal for me, actually. Hopefully we'll draw something here that we can play. Argent Squire is okay. I mean, we can play 3 things here, so that's pretty good. It's always a little bit interesting. I mean, the annoying part is that I'm wasting all of my combo fodder, but I don't really want to play this guy without getting value. Then again, now I can't really play it. I probably should have played this turn instead of the Harvest Golem just for 2 damage and to get a 3/3 on board. But now, I mean, I have a really resilient board, so even if he's got like a Hellfire here, I don't even care. That is randomly amazing. I think I'm going to just assassinate that just to keep my board presence up and then hit him for 7 down to 16. Actually 8 because I'm going to dagger as well. Alright, I'm going to keep the Argent Squire in hand so that I can combo next turn. And I still have full use of my mana this turn, so that's good. Yeah, Blood Knight is a pretty random card. I don't think I would run it in my decks. I mean, the floor is pretty low, but then again, I mean, when it's competing with other 3-drops that have really powerful effects all the time, like Harvest Golem and Shattered Sun Cleric, and it's just, it only works if your opponent randomly is playing Argent Squires or Argent Commanders, but even Argent Commanders almost never have their Divine Shields up. So it seems like a really strange card to include in your deck. Alright, so he's going to go with an Argent Commander here, which is not great for me, but at the same time, wow, okay, so I guess he just has a bunch of Divine Shield that, whoa there, buddy. Whoa, okay, so he's at 15 right here, so I have 6, 7, and I can play this for 4, that's going to be 11. Yeah, I think I have lethal here. So let's see, let's count this again. 2, 4, 6, 7. Then play this, then combo into this to deal 2 to him. So that'll take us to 9, then attack. Yeah, and we have enough mana to do all of this. Alright, we're going to do one of those, and an attack. So yeah, not trading for one of my creatures was really ambitious last turn for my opponent, but we managed to pull that one out. It was a pretty sweet game. I guess I give him a well played. Oh, I missed it. Too bad I'm not on a win streak. I think I had just lost my last game, so I need to win 2 more to stay on a win streak. But, I mean, that's pretty much exactly what the deck wants to do. Just take control of the board, start beating them down, and then use cards like Eviscerate and Cold Blood in combo to just finish them off in one turn when you have a clear shot at them and they're at a reasonable life total. I mean, like, that game was probably in my favor if I had tried to take over the board, but it definitely wasn't going exceedingly well. Well, actually it might have been. I mean, if I could combo into, I could have played, I don't really want to, instead of the Eviscerate, I could have played Argent Squire, SI7 Agent, and the other thing too, Perdition's Blade, and I would have been able to clear his board without even losing any creatures, so yeah, it could have been okay. So we're playing against a Druid, which is not our best matchup. I don't think. I think it's actually probably the worst matchup just because they have like a huge late game and this is more of a mid-rangey deck. So they're kind of like one step slower than us, which means that they should still be fast enough to survive, but slow enough that they can do more powerful things to me in the late game. So I'm going to... Oh, that's a sweet draw. I was about to say I'm just going to keep the coin here, but now next turn I can actually do an interesting play. If he doesn't just pop my Divine Shield here, he probably will, but I can do an interesting play if I want. I can Novice Engineer, coin, Cold Blood. But yeah, if he's just gonna take my Divine Shield off, then I'm not going to. But and then potentially just get in for a lot of damage really early on, but it doesn't seem worth it. Oh wow, he's gonna Innervate and to kill my guy. That seems like the wrong play. I mean, Innervate he could have used an Innervate, I don't know if he has one in hand, but to like drop a Druid Claw on turn 5 or something like that. But instead he just spent his entire turn trying to kill my one guy. Not gonna hear any complaints from me. Wow. So I have plus 8 damage for my guys, plus this thing, so that's like the equivalent of 12 damage, but I really need to draw some creatures. Like, that's the problem with keeping this kind of opening hand. He's got 1 mana, so okay, he's not going to do anything. Alright, Backstab is Not an ideal play, but I think it's going to be what we're going to do here. Backstab into Perdition's Blade, just start killing him. Then again, I probably didn't need to do that. I don't know. 5 damage, but we still need to do a lot of things. We need to draw more creatures. Hopefully I can draw an Argent Squire off the top. I only have one more left in the deck, so that would be pretty unlikely, but then I can Defender Vargas into Argent Squire. Or Argent Squire into Defender Vargas, rather. Okay, so he's going to go with a Keeper of the Grove, making my Defender Vargas look really embarrassing right here. Alright, so we're going to go one of these Novice Engineers probably into an Eviscerate here, just so we don't lose our creature straight away. I'm trying to decide if I want to attack. I think not. Yeah, I think not, just in case he plays a Druid of the Claw here. I can coin into an Argent Commander and then finish it off with the weapon. But if he doesn't do that this turn, then okay, he's just going to shapeshift. It's fine with me. I'm just going to coin into an Argent Commander here, maybe, depending on what he does. Alright, so he is playing that slower deck. I could play... No, that doesn't seem good. I could play a Loot Hoarder, coin into Defender of Argus, but then he can just... Oh, I guess I could still trade. Yeah, that seems okay. I got a nice little board presence here. And I'm going to just finish this 3-3 off right here with the Perdition's Blade. Kind of happy that that ended up happening. I don't know, but he's still got 6 cards in hand, and I mean I'm at basically 5, but these Cold Bloods are not really that good in this kind of spot. Hopefully I can use the Loot Hoarder in conjunction with one of them to nope, Loot Hoarder's gonna go down. And Defias Ringleader. Alright, so we're just gonna start. Oh, okay, it's not my turn yet. I was like, what's going on here? He's probably gonna hit this. Or no, he's probably just going to hit me. Makes more sense. But yeah, we're going to start pushing some damage through here. We're going to go with an Argent Commander to kill the 2/4. And we got a reasonable board presence, Backstab and Defias Ringleader combo, as well as these kind of things, which we can do. The good thing about Cold Blood is if you really need a combo to start, then it's only 1 mana, so it's pretty cheap. Obviously not an ideal use of the card, but anyway. So we ended up trading like 3 for 3, sort of, or I don't know. Okay, so he's gonna go with one of those. Did draw an Assassinate here, and I think that's gonna be the play. My opponent could be starting to play stuff like Ancient of Lore, which would suck, but I don't think I can really, or Ancient of War rather. Lore would be not great either, but I don't really think that I have room to play around. A swipe would be terrible for me. He could just swipe the Defender of Argus and then shapeshift kill this, and obviously my hand is not doing much here. Pretty much any card from his deck is really bad. There's the Ancient of War that I was talking about. Less than ideal here, but it looks like we'll be able to take it out reasonably easily. So gonna go with that to start it off, to start the combo. SI7 agent, and then a Cold Blood here on this guy. And I'm thinking about Cold Blooding just this thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that just to get some damage in. I should have done it to the Bandit here, I think, actually, just so that it becomes a much, like, so if he does have a removal spell, he's killing my 2/2, not my 3/3. But it's going to be tough to win this one from this spot. If he, like, all of his cards at this point are basically answers to this. Yeah, it was definitely a mistake to put on the 3/3 instead of the 2/2, because now he can just finish this guy off. He wouldn't have been able to do that. So it's going to be really difficult, and he's got another Earthen Ring Farseer. That sucks for me. Oh, Healing Touch, even worse. So like that's one thing that the Druid deck started doing, is they're running these. Ooh, I think I'm actually gonna use the durability on this first, and then no, that was dumb. I should have played the Assassin's Blade. There's no real reason to play it this turn, so I'm just gonna dagger up and pass. Yeah, I'm still very far from killing him. This thing can do technically 12 damage, but he can gain 1 a turn, so... Yeah, I'm going to need to draw like a deadly poison in order to get that through, and then also hope he doesn't have taunt or like a big enough creature to just start killing me, so... This is going to be a tough one to win from this spot. I definitely screwed up at the beginning. Or, I mean, as I was saying, I think this is a bad matchup. I'm not sure if I played it perfectly either. And maybe screwed up a little bit during deck building as well. Alright, Defias Ringleader. So at least we can combo into that. And I think that my, like, surprisingly enough, my only hope is to go for the face here. And, like, hope to draw into an Eviscerate or something like that. Somewhere down the road. Drawing 2 cards for him was probably the correct play, but it is a little bit risky knowing that the only way he's really going to lose this game is by me like quickly damaging him out. And he's just going to finish off the bandit here. So I don't have any cards, so I can't combo an Eviscerate to win here. And he's got another Healing Touch, so maybe that was he knew he had another Healing Touch in the deck. Man, he is. He's gained 16 life here. Alright, Sylvanas Windrunner is actually one of the cards that I can draw at this point to come back somehow. Right, well, we're gonna just drop that, and I don't think that I'm gonna be able to just damage him out, so I'm gonna try and claw my way back into this one. God, it'll be tough. It seems really unlikely. That is pretty much gonna be the really? Not Pagel. I didn't think that card was remotely playable, but I don't know, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Interesting that he killed my creature there. Assassinate. Alright, you're gonna go with one of those, one of these. Pass the turn. Alright, so he's got nothing really on board, but he still has 3 cards in hand, and I mean, I guess this guy might be useful for him. 50% chance to draw a card, so 0-4 that will recoup its value in 2 turns. It seems really bad. Because like if it was like a 2-4, then it would be awesome. Or like a 2-2 even. Yeah, this guy came ready to he caught a fish, I get it. He came ready to beat down an aggro deck. Like that's his entire goal, is to survive to the late game, drop his ancients, and that's a good strategy, and it's definitely gonna beat my mid-rangey strategy. Like exactly. Oh, I should have played the deadly poison because I have this spellmaster, but hopefully we'll win the 3rd one so we can get 2 out of 3. Always like to win 2 out of 3, right? I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty happy with the performance in that in that game. I think I had a pretty terrible starting hand in that I drew both the Cold Bloods in the early game, and I still was relatively close to winning. I was like a couple, or maybe a spell away at some point. I don't know. But either way, my opponent played that well, and I think I played it reasonably well for how bad the matchup was going to be. All right, so we're playing against a mage, and that's always an interesting matchup. Man, against any other hero, this hand would be basically the nut. I am going to get rid of the SI7 agent and keep the 2 X1s, believe it or not. And I think that's okay. Ugh, I wish I was on the draw here. So I could reasonably hold this Ardent Squire to combo into the Defias Ringleader, but I'm going to hope that I get the combo off much later in the game. So I'm going to drop this guy on 1. If he wants to coin into Fire Blast, then that's okay with me. That means that he's using, like, he's using basically his entire early game to just get rid of my my 1-drop, which is fine, because even though he does get up on cards, that's not really as much of a concern in Constructed as it is in the arena, especially when I'm packing all these like card disadvantage things that do allow me to get back into the game. Ooh, Cold Blood here. Man, that is really tempting to just like play Loot Hoarder, Cold Blood, just start beating down, and like he has to spend the next 2 turns pinging this thing unless he has like 2 removal spells or a Frostbolt or something like that. I feel like that would be the wrong play. I feel like the best play is just Argent Squire into Defias Ringleader. And we'll save the Cold Blood. We might be able to use it better in a later spot, or even just next turn if I want to Harvest Golem and then Cold Blood, and then I have a much better board. Alright, so he's just going to ping off my 2/1 here. And I think I'm actually just going to go for it. If he doesn't have a Cone of Cold here, then he can't do anything until 2 turns from now. So we're going to go for it. Harvest Golem, Cold-Blooded on the Argent Squire. And if he doesn't have Cold and Cold or Frostbolt, then I'm going to get some value out of it. I mean, I already got a little bit of value, but I definitely am not going to win this late game against this guy. So early game here is pretty important. Just pushing damage through as easily or as much as I can. And I do have 10 power on the board, so if that's really his only play, if he doesn't have another damage for it, then that's so bad for him. Okay, so he's got a Frostbolt, so he probably didn't need to use the ping on that this turn. He could have... Actually, it didn't really matter. None of my things were particularly weak to ping. Alright, so Sylvanas Windrunner as just a 5/5 seems okay. Obviously, my opponent probably isn't running that many creatures anyway, so like the only other time I would play it is like after he drops his Ragnaros or something like that and just hope that he hits it. But even then, he still has an entire turn to respond to it before I do take control of it, his creature. So even though he did get rid of my Argent Squire, he's got a ton of cards in hand, and he has to deal with the entire board. Alright, so he's got one of those of his own, which is really awkward because the second one is actually so much better than the first one. But yeah, I think I'm just going to actually attack him. Oh, is he dead? No. He goes to 1 here. So it looks like pretty unlikely that he can come back. Even if he's got a Blizzard here or a Coin Flamestrike, like neither of those things matter. Oh, I guess he could have Ice Blocks. I hope I draw some damage in case it's like an Ice Barrier. But, I mean, actually I don't know what happens if he attacks his Windrunner into mine. I don't know if he's going to get a creature and then I'll get a creature. Oh, it looks like mine triggered first. So yeah, he's going to just steal one of my creatures here. Unfortunate, but alas. That is our fate. Alright, so what you got, bro? Yeah, Arcane Intellect. So he's not worried. This is clearly an ice block. And this is a little bit scary. In case it's not an ice block, I'm just going to Perdition's Blade him. In case it's an ice barrier. Okay, it was an ice block. But I think it still makes sense. I'm not going to play anything else onto this board. And I don't want to lose my Divine Shield on my Argent Commander in case he doesn't have a freeze, in case he has a Flame Strike. So what I'm going to do is... I'll play out this Loot Hoarder because I'll just draw a card. Going to go with that into that, as well as I will lose the Divine Shield on this guy. That's okay. Because I do... I mean, yeah, no, he can't actually ping that off. So this is fine. And, I mean, we've got Lethal again next turn. Unless he... Like, he has to have another Ice Block. And even then, he's at 1 life. He needs to gain life right now, or he's just gonna... Like, I have a 1-day... Oh, he's got another Ice Block. Alright, well, that's okay. He's also got to deal with the board. Like, as long as he's playing Ice Blocks, he's not dealing with the board. Okay, so he had a Polymorph, which is interesting. He does not seem that worried here. Alright, let's go for one of these. It's an Ice Barrier this time. Okay. Pretty good for him. It's too bad that I didn't still have the Perdition's Blade. I should have probably considered that last turn and known that he would have the ice barrier or the ice block the first time and play around the ice barrier the second time, because I think I still had lethal even if it was an ice barrier. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. It looks like he's got another secret, which could be another barrier. Or it, of course, could be another block. Probably nothing else, but he's got a ton of cards in hand, which is worrisome. But, I mean, I have him down to a really low life total that even if he is able to turn the corner and start playing some big things, there's still a good chance that I'll be able to kill him. He's got to deal with my entire board here so that I can't activate this ice block this turn. And I mean, if I draw a Deadly Poison or an Eviscerate or a Cold Blood, as long as he doesn't kill all my creatures, then I'll be able to do that anyway. So then again, it's not like I have such an imposing board state here, but I don't know, these guys seem like they'll get it done. A little Sheepy Sheep, Loot Hoarder, and an Argent Squire. I don't know, man. This is a tough game here. He's got a Loot Hoarder of his own. He's going to ping my Loot Hoarder, of course. So I got 2 draws to draw into one of those few cards. Backstab's a good one, so I can just get rid of this thing. Alright, so I'm going to be able to finish him off. But first I'm going to play this Novice Engineer in case I draw into an Eviscerate. Okay, I did not draw an Eviscerate. But I think I did draw into something that I want to play here. Defender of Argus. Oh, God damn it. Stupid game screwing up. Oh, that's going to cost me a little bit, actually. Right, so he's got another ice block. Not really a surprise to anyone here, and I'm just going to kill this thing off. And then make another dagger here. So Backstab, unfortunately, can only deal damage to an undamaged minion, so I can't use it to throw it at his face, but he's got to have another ice barrier here, or like even something giant with taunt. I guess he could have 2 Molten Giants and then like a defender or something like that, but I don't know, that doesn't seem like something that's going to happen. But it looks like this guy's running a really outdated version of that deck, the Frost Giants deck. Alright, Frost Nova is not good enough, man. I mean, I've got a dagger. Gotta have something else. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, did manage to beat this control deck, but it's a pretty outdated control deck, and I think that playing that Cold Blood earlier was pretty good. It forced him to focus on that creature, and I had a formidable board position outside of it, so it definitely just made something into a threat that wasn't a threat, but I'm still not sure or convinced that Cold Blood is a good card for the deck. But anyway, pretty happy to have won 2 out of 3. I gained 1 star in my rank, so that's pretty pretty awful. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and have a wonderful day. Bye.